Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Solopreneur Podcast. If this content resonates, please like and subscribe. Today, my guest is Wendy Watson. Wendy is a love and embodiment architect, a spiritual mentor, the creator of the Love, Legacy, and Beyond the Blueprint frameworks. She guides high-achieving leaders to break old rules, trust their inner knowing, and scale their lives and businesses from truth, autonomy, and soul. With a blend of strategy and spirit, she receives guidance from within and beyond to help others build lives and legacies that actually feel like them. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Bev. How you doing? Thank you
Doing
so
well.
much for having me on here.
Thank you for being here. This is awesome. I
Mm.
love that part in your intro about strategy and spirit and guidance from receiving guidance from within and beyond. So I'm making an assumption here that the within there is sort of like the human, the brain power part, and the beyond is the spirituality part, or have I got that right or wrong?
So the it's
Sort of.
the within is kind of a blend, right? So I have the physical body and all of my organs and my brain and those components that I listen to and tune into, as well as within from the spiritual component and tuning within to my spirit, my higher self, my mind, those different components. And then beyond is, beyond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever comes in.
Yes, exactly. Whether
Awesome.
it's in quantum space or the spiritual guides or wherever I need to receive it from.
Very cool. So do you go into an kind of a meditation to receive this stuff, or just when you're working with somebody, these things come?
No, it's like almost an every moment kind of
Ah,
situation.
okay.
So I've gotten to the point where it's just everyday life. It's just like talking to my mind or myself,
Yeah.
talking out loud to myself, whether I'm talking to my stomach and what do I need to eat today, or I'm talking to my spirit and what do I need to do today in order to accomplish the mission or make the money or attract the money or build the foundation for what I'm doing. Whatever that is, it's a constant communication process.
Yeah. And I mean, they say that this, spirit and so on is constantly broadcasting stuff to us. We just don't hear it. So there's a process, I guess, of tuning in.
Yeah, like we can hear it. Sometimes we have so much static, whether we're taking static in from other people or it's
Mm.
habits that we've created or conditionings that we've allowed to take place or whatever that is that drowns out the sounds or what did you call them? Signals?
Broadcast.
Broadcasts? Okay, downloads,
Tuning in.
everybody's got different vocabulary, right?
Yeah.
But I believe that communication is always available. It's what's in the way between the levels of communication.
Yeah, how it gets buried. So,
How it gets muffled.
yeah. So you work with high achievers, high performers, those folks that have kind of checked off a whole bunch of the boxes that we always hear that we're supposed to be checking off. They've made some money, they've gotten some success. At least it appears that way on the outside. And yet there's something missing.
There's something missing or there's another layer that needs to be peeled back or they're ready for their next level of evolution and ascension. Sometimes it doesn't always feel like there's something missing, but it feels like there's something more or like they can't quite get over the speed bump. It feels like there's something and they may not be able to put a finger on it. So, what I help them to do is identify that through conversation or identifying their energetic architecture or rewriting their failure stories, creating a love story, setting boundaries, energetic boundaries, whatever that looks like that they need. I have been trained in a number of energetic modalities and shamanism and quantum space and alchemy, so I can work from different access points.
You have a lot of different tools in your
Yes.
toolbox there.
Yes. And
That's
I have
awesome.
almost all of my eight clairs very well tuned
Oh,
in. So it's very
really?
interesting.
That's interesting. So were you born that way?
Apparently, although I didn't know that until my mid 30s, because I was raised in a Orthodox Christian home, so a lot of my gifts were not welcomed. And so I shut them all out, and I forgot that I even had those gifts. And when I started becoming a massage therapist and then working in a yoga studio, which yoga is all energy and Ayurvedic and all of those components, my gifts really started coming out. And then a friend of mine, a friend of the family's, we were talking. She's like, "Yeah, you used to do that when you were 4. You used to read people's auras and tell them about themselves and all the things that they didn't want. Either they didn't know, they didn't want it said out loud, or whatever it was." And so I used to get in trouble for it. And so I turned them off, if you will. And so, yeah, now they're all the way back on.
Awesome. So do you think the yoga and stuff sort of triggered something or activated something in your body?
The going to massage school is what really activated it. Learning about the different energy modalities and realizing how natural it came to me, and then coming to realize that both of my maternal parents did energy work. They just called it something different. So my grandfather called it, because he would go to church and he would lay hands on people. It's the same thing, it's energy work.
Sure.
My grandmother, so my right leg is shorter than my left leg, and she would sit me up on an ottoman, on a chair, put my legs up on the ottoman, and she'd hold my ankles, and she would do a Christian chant, and energetically, and my legs would move back and forth until they evened out, and then I'd stand up, and my gait was fine. So
Really?
she did energy work, but she called it her Christian chant. My grandfather did energy work. He called it laying hands on people. And so that's when I realized like energy is just more than Reiki. It's more than polarity. It's more than cranial sacral. Energy is like way so much more than that. And there's just different ways to describe it or explain it.
Hmm. So do you walk normally now to this day?
No,
That
because
wasn't a good way of
no.
saying that.
No, because I found out the head of my femur is malformed on my right
Oh,
leg in my hip socket. So it's just a thing that I've managed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you come to work with the high achievers, the folks that are the CEOs and the CFOs and that kind of stuff? Are the corporate and I'm assuming corporate and entrepreneurial types?
Yeah. So I'm a fifth generation entrepreneur. It's who I attract. It's who I get along with. It's who I completely embody and understand. You can't be fifth generation anything and
Yeah,
not attract those people.
yeah,
So that's part of it. And I believe, I love helping all people. But when we can work from the top of the system and have that trickle down, it's a lot easier than trying to be a salmon and swim upstream.
absolutely. That is a great way of looking at it. That's one trickle down that works.
It does, because let's take employees, right? So if
Yeah,
I'm helping the leaders and the boards and the entrepreneurs of the business, and that shifts the whole culture of the business for everybody that works in that facility, and they spend 8 to 10 hours there a day. which is the majority of their waking life, that's a huge impact that you can make on somebody indirectly,
Yeah.
right? Just them walking into that building and having a different setting, having a different feeling, having a different interaction with their work on a daily basis is a huge thing that you can do for somebody.
Well, yeah. And if the boss is happy, the employees are probably going to be happy.
What's that saying? Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in
Happy
business.
boss, too.
Exactly. Happy boss, happy life. Yeah. Which
Exactly.
means you're going to be more productive, you're going to get more accolades, you're going to get more promotions. You're
Yeah,
just going to enjoy work a little bit better. And who
exactly.
doesn't want that?
So I saw on your website, I keep seeing the 70-20-10 everywhere
Yeah.
on there. So tell me about that.
So I was working for corporate America in finance, and believe it or not, I was a perfectionist with
Oh,
very angry communication. I grew up on a construction site with my dad and in an office with my mom, which is two polarizing environments. And so very confused, but they were entrepreneurs. So I just had this perfectionist mentality, but it didn't bode well for my co-working relationships. And so my audit manager came to me one day and he's like, look, as long as 70% of the invoices go through, 20% get escalated, and 10% we have to write off, that's our goal.
okay.
And I was like, right? Times three. So first it was, wait a minute, you're willing to write stuff off? It's like a whole new thing to me. Two, so you're giving me permission to not be perfect,
Exactly.
which was a huge gift.
Yeah.
And I started looking at it in the terms of communication. And I realized at the time 70% of the communication I was receiving was that other person's stuff, their experiences, their beliefs, their habits, their conditionings, their fears, whatever it is, it was their stuff.
That other person being whoever you were interacting
Whoever I
with on
was,
the job. Gotcha.
or in my personal life.
Right.
Yeah. Only 10% of it was personal to me, and 20% was like a combination in there somewhere. And that's when I realized, because I'm a numbers person, it's just like, oh, so if only 10 to 30% of the information I'm getting is personal to me, why am I taking anything personally?
Right. So you extrapolated that formula from the business world into
Quantifying communication,
communication. That's awesome.
right? So then it was, how can I find that 10% of nugget out of all the things that they're throwing at me? How can I find that 10% of nugget that's actually pertinent to the project, pertinent to me, pertinent to the conversation? And then I flipped it around on myself, and what is the 70% that I'm giving out to people? And what
Wow.
is the 70% that I'm saying to myself? And that was the tricky one, because I realized 90% of what I said to myself was negative.
Well, this is what happens. This is the human way, apparently. Yeah.
Well, it can be, or it can be not,
Yeah.
right? So I've learned to keep 10% of negativity, which I don't really consider it negativity, I just consider it the ego,
Hmm.
as a vetting tool,
Yeah.
right? That's my relationship, because I see everything in terms of relationships. That's my relationship with my ego. I want to have 10 to 20% of ego to arise to help me vet whether or not this opportunity is in alignment with me. I've done my due diligence. I've checked off all the boxes, all of the things. So I use it as a tool rather than a derogatory thing.
Yeah, it's not negative, it's maybe constructive criticism,
Yes,
something like
exactly.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So when you're coaching, do you, let me ask, how do you work with people? Do you have like one-on-one sessions or retreats or groups?
So I have one-on-one sessions, I have workshops, I host conferences. I'm hoping to do my first retreat next October, November in Norway.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have several different ways of, I'm in like 5 or 6 different books. I do group sessions, but yeah, I do all of those. And I call it mentoring because I want to help teach you, not just coach you how to do something. I want to teach you how to figure it out for yourself.
Exactly. And I know you do speaking as well, correct?
I do. I do
Yes,
speak.
you're a
And
speaker.
yes, I'm hoping to increase my speaking gigs next year.
Awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. So what is your let me ask you this. When what lights you up the most about your mentoring, or do you, without naming any names, can you give me an example of somebody you've helped that really means a lot to you when you think about what you do?
Yes, there's a couple of them. Um, the first one that comes to mind is a lady that called me crying. She had just moved to Arizona from New York. She had tried psychotherapy and all the different traditional methods of mental health. And she told me that I was going to be her last option. If I couldn't help her, then she was going to do transition.
Okay, gotcha.
And right, no pressure.
Yeah.
Uh, right.
Oy.
I'm like, okay, just give me a few sessions. And yeah, she was at that point, she was suicidal, and
Mm,
in just 5 sessions between coaching, between mentoring and energy work and giving her homework, just within 5 sessions, she had a complete new outlook on life. She was planning her future. She was planning on buying an RV and going around the United States building gardens, and she was volunteering and all of those things. And it gets me emotional every
I
time.
bet. Oh my gosh.
And then when I moved,
Congratulations.
she's like, "What am I going to do without you?" I'm like, "You have the tools that you need, but you can always reach out to me." And 3 years have gone by and I haven't heard from her, so she must be doing well.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I mean, that would just keep you going, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. The other one is this 5-year-old and his father. They went skiing up in Idaho or one of those states up there. And they were on the lift to go up to the top of the thing. And the 5-year-old fell off the lift.
Oh my gosh.
And the father thought he was gone.
That's
And
awful.
when he found him, he was not. He was still alive. He was rushed to the hospital, and he brought his son in for some work because he was having nightmares.
Mm,
And I was able to alleviate his nightmares, and I was able to help the dad with his guilt for not being able to catch his son.
sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a story, girl. That's
So those are the two. Those are the two
oh
that
my
just,
God. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Congrats on that one too.
Yeah.
So, that's a trauma. That is like that stuff is major trauma
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah. And
working with. That's not just, something's missing out of my life type thing. So,
right. That's like ongoing stuff. I've helped people from past life healing. There was one lady I helped. She had been strangled and hung in one of her past lives, and we cleared that. And her thyroid, she had low thyroid and was on medications, and her thyroid went back up and was
Wow.
able to get off medication.
Wow. Maybe that happened to me. Low thyroid. I should look into it. Maybe you can let me know. I guess there's a reason for all these things. Physical
There's a,
things that are wrong with us, emotional.
there's so much more to us than what we realize. I know a lot of your listeners probably know about chakras and meridians and our auras and that kind of thing. And so if you just look at the chakra has 8 different octaves to it, and there's 8 different layers within each octave
For each chakra,
for each chakra.
and there's lots of chakras.
There's lots of chakras, right? So if you can imagine, oh, something came to the surface, I'm noticing this thing, I healed that, I think I did good, right? But then the next layer and the next layer. So there's always, and how long has our spirit been alive? How long have we had experiences as a spiritual essence, if you will? So I think there's always something that's meant to be worked on, or that we can improve, or whether it's this life or a previous life, or something that was passed on from our lineage, whether it's human DNA or spiritual DNA. There's something in there that I think can always be addressed.
Yeah, exactly. There's always room for improvement.
Always. Yeah.
I mean, we
Always
can
room.
always be happier than we are. There's no ultimate to that.
We can always find more inner peace. We can always find more joy. We can always find more clarity. All of those things.
Yeah, and don't sell yourself short by thinking, well, I'm okay, that'll do.
Or I'm good right now. Okay. Do you want to do preventative maintenance? Or do you want to wait until something smacks you in the face again?
Exactly.
I would rather do preventative maintenance. you know,
Me too.
that's a personal
Absolutely.
choice.
Absolutely. So, Wendy, what do you envision for your business? Where would you like to go with it, with your business?
So I really want to teach people about their energetic architecture. Right? So we know about, like I mentioned, we already know about auras and chakras and that kind of thing. But then we also have an essence of the Kabbalah chart, and we have an essence of our alchemy, and there's quantum space, and whether you're a moon person or a sun person differentiates your cycles and how you respond to different astrological things. And so, really understanding that so that you can have your full autonomy is incredibly powerful and incredibly important. And I know that, some people, they understand Reiki and they understand these other different things, or human design, and these are all great. But how do they interplay with each other? What are your spirit animals trying to tell you? Is part of your soul missing? Do you need a soul retrieval in order to get part of your soul back? And that requires a quantum leap. That requires quantum space. So understanding how that works for yourself, for your own design, I think is incredibly important.
That it would be fantastic. Imagine if everyone did that, if everyone had that knowledge.
Yes, that would be
That's
fantastic.
that's the goal, right?
Yes, right? That is the goal. That way we can all communicate with each other. We can go back to being telepathic.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Um, so just to expand on that for a sec, so that it's like you said an archetype,
An architect.
an architecture, an architecture.
Architecture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So like the Kabbalah is like the framework, right? And then the chakras and the meridians and the aura are channels of how the framework is communicated and how how it's operated. And then the angels and the spirit animals and the messengers, they're the communication part of the architecture. The electrics and the triple warmer are part of the I guess, electrical system, right? And the triple warmer is the defense mechanism. So they all kind of play a role together in how you build something
Right.
or
It's
how
like
something
it's
operates.
like an ecosystem of
It is
sorts.
a whole ecosystem.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, would you have a message for the audience that you'd like to leave us with?
Um, yeah, I love teaching people. I love being the bridge to things. All right, and I'm going to give a piece of advice that I gave to another one of my groups today. It's really tune in. Like, it's great to have your autonomy, and it's also great to have a community.
Yeah.
But the community should reflect your autonomy. So, really tuning in to figure out your answers that are coming from within, whether it's coming from your higher self or your mind or your heart or your gut or whatever it is, whoever it is that you communicate with beyond that. What is it that you are saying that your spirit is resonating with? Now, it's great to get feedback and perspective and different ideas from other people's experiences and all of those things. But as you tune in, as you hear them, how is your body responding to that? How is your spirit responding to that? Is it a positive experience? Is it a smell that you're responding to? Like, what is that? But really be aware of your senses, yourself, and what you're saying. And act on it, please. Just saying, like, it's one thing to listen to it, it's another thing to listen to it and ignore it. Act on it. Be Build a trust relationship with yourself and your senses and your spirit. And
Yeah. And so much of what happens lands in our body. We feel it somewhere in our body, but just kind of pass it off. So just being aware of that.
yeah,
Is,
they in TCM they believe for every negative thought there's a blockage placed somewhere in your energetic system.
mm, uh-oh, that is not good news.
So, and the computer works the same way, right? You download a file, and eventually the computer gets the memory gets full, right? And you have to defrag or remove stuff. Our energies work the same way. The more negativity and the more records we collect, even if it's not negativity, right? I think the saying is that we receive 7,000 records a minute
That's a lot.
energetically,
Hmm.
right? So, and there's that 11 second. It's 7,000 records a second, and then it takes 11 seconds to make a judgment. How many records are you receiving within that amount of time?
Wow.
So if you don't clear them, if you don't, one, clear them out, or two, protect yourself from receiving all of it, then you're going to get overloaded. You're going to start experiencing physical repercussions, sleep
Over.
apnea, indigestion, all of those things,
Right.
right? So, really creating a spiritual self care system. A lot of people talk about self care and doing, going for a walk and meditating, but there's a different layer of spiritual self care that can be done in order to keep your spirit clean and like kind of like taking your car to a car wash, which I found fantastic. I always love a good spiritual bath. So there's way there's ways to do that to keep yourself clean so that you're not keeping all these records in there so that you don't end up crashing.
Overwhelmed and crashing. Exactly. Yeah. Excellent advice. So, how can people get hold of you, Wendy, so they can start cleaning up?
So you can text or call me at 844-735-6090. You can check out my website at TBR, that's to be revealed, spiritualhealth.com. Or you can find me on any social media under TBR Spiritual Health.
TBR, to be revealed.
To be revealed,
Good
yes.
one. It's not to be buried any further, any
No,
longer.
let's reveal your essence, let's reveal your autonomy, let's reveal who you are and get rid of the stuff that doesn't belong to you.
Exactly. Fantastic. Wendy, thank you so much for
Oh, thank
being
you,
here.
Deb.
Really appreciate it. And
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on and sharing your wonderful audience with me.
thank you. And I will talk to you again soon, okay?
Sounds good.
Awesome. And I'm Bev Young, and I help spiritually minded and heart-centered entrepreneurs get maximum credibility and visibility online with websites they love and that work. See you next time.